Welcome back everyone to the channel, and today we're going to be talking about Dragon Alliance's oversized knockoff redecoed version of Transformers Prime Beast Hunter's Abominus. So as you can see, here he is, and I will talk about how he is oversized and how he's been redecoed in a bit, but first I'm going to break him off into his key components. Okay, so now we have the individual components. We've got Twin Strike, Windraiser, Hun-Gurr, Rippersnapper, and Blight. Now, you'll notice that these aren't in the colors that they usually come with, and I think there's a pretty good reason for that. Now, other than the fact that this is Dragon Alliance, so Dragon Alliance, and I just put the names there because honestly I'm not super familiar with the Abominus combination. These were meant to look like a little bit more unified than how Abominus came in the Beast Hunters series. By the way, I really like the packaging art. It doesn't give me like knockoff vibes for some reason. I don't know if that's just me. But yeah, so here, let's talk about the individual components. I like the colors that they went with, but more than anything, so Hun-Gurr is the center figure, right? And he's got basically two main colors of plastic, which is yellow and this dark gray. But for everyone else, all the limbs are a light gray and some other color. And that makes for a more unified looking figure, and I really like it. So let's tackle each individual character. So here we have Hun-Gurr, and you have a little bit of articulation, ball jointed neck here, and up and down on the heads, both of them. And then you just have ball joint here on the hips and a little bit of foot rotation. Now again, he's not the most stable figure, to be honest, but he'll do. So yeah, that's basically how he sizes up. Let's compare him to Beachcomber, Power of the Primes. As you can see, he's very small in comparison with these other figures. Now, these figures aren't deluxes by any means, but they are certainly sizable enough. Like, if I were to bring in an actual deluxe car, say Blur, I mean, Blur would still be bigger, right? But yeah, thing size, visual Commander size. As you can see, they're Ultra Magnets from Beast Hunters. Not the usual Commander size at all. Let's try to convert Hun-Gurr here real quick. So Hun-Gurr has this weird, like, moving center area. If you wanted to extend him a bit, you can. But it does make for a weird look, so I don't do that. Anyway, so let's go ahead and convert him to his robot mode. Now, all you're going to need to do is fold down these arms right here. And after that, you basically just need to turn these heads into feet. Do it like this. You're almost actually done. Just move these off to the side. They become the arms. Same with this, so turn them and move them about like this, and there you go. And then just expose the head like this, and you're basically good. That's it. That's Hun-Gurr right there. He looks very knighty, which I like. So for articulation, there's this weird, yeah, shoulder articulation here. Well, not shoulder, but bicep rotation, but it's not really doing him any favors. You do have the ball joint from the legs earlier here, from the hips, which now serve for his arm articulation. Ball joints here on the legs. It's just a weird, it's giving me play school vibes, but okay. And this thing still keeps moving, but the thing is this has a purpose in robot mode that I don't seem to see in the original. But yeah, that's basically Hun-Gurr here in his robot mode. So just to compare how big he is to a legend size figure, this is Blackjack, so he is larger. There you go. All right, let's do the other figures. So let's do Twin Strike. Twin Strike here has got ball jointed heads, necks rather, and then there's a little bit of articulation here. There's a complex little assembly for the arms, but there is ball joint on the elbows. No articulation here. Actually, yeah, no articulation at all. Just on the elbows, but nothing for the feet. And then you've got tail articulation a little bit, and you've got hip articulation. I feel like you should be able to move this, but it just doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. It's not really for the leg, see. It's just there. It just moves like a little bit. And then you've got foot articulation here. The thing is, you can actually turn these, which I should have. I just realized. There you go. For the animal mode, beast mode legs. Yeah, there you go. You might want to get out of there, Razor Fang. Thank you. That's Razor Fang, Razor Claw sister. Anyway, so there you go. Beast mode. Let's go ahead and transform him. So this one's pretty easy to transform. You can clearly see he's just a robot on all fours. So basically, you're just gonna transform him accordingly. So just move the legs like this, move the arms this way. You're gonna want to turn these so that you can have the robot mode feet. Turn up the tail, turn it upwards rather. Then you're gonna want to open up the, there you go. You should be putting these off to the back, so you're gonna switch them around, and these now become the arms. Next up, you've got Windraiser. He's got a little bit of articulation here, up and down. It looks like a ball joint, but it's not. It's just up and down. There's a little bit of a complex articulation package here. So there's ball joints here at the back of the wings, and you can you have ball joint here as well, and then you've got a little bit of a wingspan. So there you go. And then you have ball joint on the elbows and a little bit of ankle movement up and down. Not exactly an ankle rocker, more like foot articulation. So there you go for his bird mode. Okay, you'll notice that there's a giant gap here in the front. I wish that wasn't there, but it's for transformation purposes. So transforming into bot mode, basically you just need to flip up these feet, and the animal feet become kneecaps. Kind of a weird stiletto thing going on. Then you fold up the tail, and then you bring down the head and flip down the robot head, then you're going to want to have these shoulder pads move up to the front, and then bring the arms down. This one's pretty intuitive, to be honest. And you've got him in robot mode. So that's the reason why you had the gap earlier. So articulation, ball joints pretty much in the usual spots. A little bit of foot articulation, knee articulation, but it's a little weird, so I wouldn't recommend using that. And yeah, there you go. Nice detail on the face. I really like the metal wings. I mean, look at that. Look at that gleam. So yeah, there you go with Windraiser. Now let's do Rippersnapper. 180 almost on the arms. Then you've got ball joint here on the hips. No head articulation. It's pretty much frozen in place. This is basically like a kaiju dragon type thing. No tail articulation really. It's pretty much stuck in place. Now let's go ahead and transform into robot mode. This one's a little more complex, actually probably the most complex out of all of them. I'm just gonna turn him this way so that you can see. Sorry about the betadine. If you turn him this way, you can pretty much see where this is going. So just go ahead and disengage the top part, and I brought it together there. Bring this down because these are just going to turn into arms. And then the legs, you're going to want to disengage this part and fold it back up here. And you now just need to separate the legs. And then this is the complex part. You fold the feet downward a little bit like this, and then all the way there. And then fold this up. And you've got your one leg, and you've got your second leg, and there you have Rippersnapper in robot mode. So no head articulation, same thing, ball joint for the elbows and for the hips. No real, a little bit of feet articulation, but no real, articulation anywhere else. You're gonna want to secure this, I just realized. So there's a little tab here on either side. Just plug them in there so that he's secure. There you go. Rippersnapper in robot mode. Last of the bunch, we've got Blight. So Blight is not as complicated, but he does take a little bit of, doing compared to the others. So for Blight, you're going to want to turn him around so you have an idea where you're going, because these are going to be arms. Okay, so just lift up the arms like that, and then move down rather the legs, and then you're going to want to flip the head all the way to the back, and then close these panels, and then turn these around, and you've got your legs. Now bring out the head so you can complete your robot mode. So yeah. Oh, you'll notice I kind of skipped the articulation. The articulation on this one is pretty much the same as everyone else. So don't worry about that. Anyway, so there you have Blight. So as you can see, if I bring out Blackjack again, you'll be able to see that Blackjack is smaller than all of them. And there you have him. There you have them. Now let's go ahead and transform him into his combined mode. So for combined mode, you're gonna want to prep this guy. You're gonna want to turn his head around, because when you flip this, you'll notice he has actually two heads. He has another head there, a combined mode head, which is like twice bigger than his regular head. And there, and you'll notice that you can lift him upwards like this. The original toy, as far as I saw, didn't have him doing that, because it's essentially, this is your combined mode. Just lift his hands like that, put his feet down like that, and that's essentially combined mode. But the thing is, I don't know if this is a thing you could do with the original, but you can lift him up like that to give him a little bit of a torso, and I'm gonna do that. And I'll show you guys, because this is not the most stable thing, but you can stabilize it with something that doesn't really come with this set, but pretty much every Transformer collector has. So I'm gonna set that off to the side, and let's go ahead and work on the legs. So for the legs, I'm just gonna bring Blight's head down like this. So this is the entirety of the heads, essentially. Bring these legs off to the side. I'm gonna open this hatch, put the leg down like that, a head down like that, and then there you basically have one leg ready, and this is gonna be the other leg. Now you're going to want to do the same thing here. Make sure the head is all the way inside. There you go. And then also just kind of bring those legs together in the front. And those are gonna be your legs. Now the thing about the limbs is that you just kind of want to, from robot mode, you're just gonna wanna bring up the head here. You need to flip this all the way up, so just remove the tail so it's not blocking your way. But otherwise you're pretty much set. That's pretty much it. You just need to move these leg parts all this way, kind of like you had them in beast mode. Set that off to the side. And then this one, pretty much the same thing. Hide the head if you can. And then just bring these head parts forward. Bring the arm part downward. And pretty much there you have him. So now that you have this piece, you're just gonna want to slide this into this slot. It takes a bit of doing. There you go. And then secure the leg like you would in robot mode. Do the same for this other side. There's two 4mm peg holes here, and there are basically four 4mm pegs on either side of the legs. So you just need to match those up. Match them up and lock them on the side for this side. So 4 pegs. Just match them up the same way. And now that you've got them plugged in, they're a lot more secure. And now you have Abominus. So there you go. Pretty easy. It's not, so this is like the default transformation as you can see in the original toy, but like I said, you can bring this up to give him a little bit more of a height and improvement in his proportion. There is one thing that I like to do, which is funny. You know, it's not really part of this figure, but just to stabilize him, I have here an Enigma of combination, or you can use any Prime Master. Just stuff it in the middle of the groin and then lock it in place. That allows him to be a lot better proportioned, which is funny. Now, so how does this work? You've got articulation this way, a little bit this way. You've got articulation this way and a little bit. So his hands go inwards, basically, if you use them as limbs. This is intended to be 4 giant fingers, essentially. So I'm using him as Nexus Prime, so that works out really well for me. And you've got a tiny hand here. Now the wings you can do a lot with in this mode. You can kind of form them however you wish, just like the original. You'll notice I'm having a bit of a hard time stabilizing him, just like the original. I mean, I have handled the original, so yeah, this feels a lot like that. But there you go. Now, in terms of weapons, you'll notice that I did not talk about weapons at all. But if you do happen to have 4mm weapons, there aren't a lot in the Transformers world, but I do have Knockout Spear. You can peg it into any one of those 4mm peg holes, or the 4mm notches on the mouths of the dragon parts. So there you go. There you have him. Do I recommend this figure? Not exactly, but it's kind of fun to have a figure that's a Voyager size or taller combiner, and I'm definitely enjoying having him in my collection, as he's not Abominus, he's Nexus Prime for me, so that's the reason why I got him in the first place. So if you compare him now to Blackjack, you'll see it's a sizable difference. So you'll notice that he is actually a lot bigger than Ultra Magnus. Got Beast Hunter's Prowl, which I've repurposed into Prima. So there you go. That's what he looks like next to Luxes and Voyagers from the Beast Hunter series. So I am very, very happy with this. For my purposes, I do understand that for the most part, he's still kind of unstable and disproportionate to some people. But for me, because, you know, Nexus Prime is supposed to be one of the primal combiners, I'm okay with that. Let's do one more comparison. Let's do Galvatron. As you can see, he is taller than a Voyager, a typical Voyager. So for me, that's interesting. So that's pretty much our review of Beast Hunter's Abominus from Dragon Alliance. I very much like what they did with the figure, despite the fact that, you know, he still has a lot of failings from the original, but to me, an improvement of that mold. Anyway, thank you so much for watching this video. If you're still here, now if you'd like, you can follow me at x_Paco on social media. If you want to see my art, just go ahead and follow the _Art of X. Till next time, peace out.